So, one of my longtime viewers has been wondering, what do I want from Elder Scrolls 6? And frankly, I have the same question for you guys. This is arguably the most anticipated action RPG of all time. But based on your comments from the last time I talked about the Elder Scrolls, you guys don't have high hopes for the game, and honestly I can't blame you. But just for a moment, I want you all to let go of your likely realistic expectations for the game and tell me what you actually want. What is your ideal version of the Elder Scrolls 6? What does Bethesda have to do to win you over? What does the game need to be a true successor to Skyrim in your mind? I'm genuinely curious, so let me know in the comments. As you probably know, I read every comment, every single one. Test me if you want. But without further ado, hey guys, Trip here, and today we're talking about what I want to see from the Elder Scrolls 6. My ideal Elder Scrolls 6 is basically a less hardcore version of Kingdom Come Deliverance that revives and fleshes out forgotten features from Daggerfall, Morrowind, and Oblivion, thrusting these ideas into the modern era without streamlining the fun out of them. I want the game to take place in Valenwood, in part so we can see the Aldmeri Dominion from the inside, and in part because I don't trust modern Bethesda to set a game in Hammerfell without it being cringe and unintentionally racist. I want a story that actually has some nuance to it. I want the Aldmeri Dominion to become more than mustache-twirling villains. I want a game with the political, social, and magical depth of Morrowind, with the choices and consequences of a game like The Witcher. But these are all just vagaries. What specifically does ES6 have to do to live up to my expectations? Well, let's take a look. First off, I want a game that builds upon Bethesda's past rather than downsizing it. Stop streamlining all the depth out of your games. Bring back levitation, climbing, open cities, the radiant AI from Oblivion. Actually build upon your brilliant but underbaked ideas for a change. But as I've said numerous times before, Bethesda seems to be going in the opposite direction. Each game seems to prune their systems more and more. Skyrim removed all sorts of features from previous games. I still can't believe they cut speed and acrobatics. Seriously, Skyrim kids have no idea what Todd took from us. But on top of looking backward for inspiration, we also need Bethesda to just look around at the competition for a change? Because let's face it, Bethesda's lost sight of what it takes to make a good role-playing game. Back in the day, action RPGs could get away with going soft on the roleplay features. But it's the 2020s and the genre has evolved. I need choices that matter, branching storylines, and a world that acknowledges my actions in meaningful ways. No more of that Markarth Forsworn BS I brought up last time. No more Starfield. You know what? That's the end of the sentence. No more Starfield. But an RPG is more than just its roleplay features. I want character progression that actually feels finished, a combat system that actually feels satisfying, a deeper magic system, better quest design and level design, much better writing, more opportunities for player expression, and multiple endings that reflect the player's choices. I'm not saying every RPG needs to be as deep as Baldur's Gate, but Bethesda needs to get better at the fundamentals if they want to make an RPG that can compete in the current climate. Lastly, the game needs to be an evolution of the Bethesda formula. Bethesda can't just keep treading old territory and expecting people to be satisfied, and they can't just copy what the competition is doing either. Bethesda needs to get better at what it already does. Their game design started getting stale in Fallout 4, maybe earlier, and Starfield just made it obvious how limited Bethesda's vision has become. We need smarter, more lifelike NPCs, dense and lived-in cities, more diversity in dungeons and locations, more immersive sim elements, procedural generation that actually enhances the handcrafted game world instead of being a replacement for it. God, can you imagine if the Radiant quests in Skyrim had just a bit more thought put into them and sent you to well-designed open-ended dungeons in a game with a decent combat system? I could play that forever. These may sound like big asks, but only because Bethesda has been setting the bar so low for so long. Nothing I've said here is impossible. Plenty of games, even previous Bethesda games, have come close to or even exceeded much of what I'm asking for here. And that's what's got me so frustrated with Bethesda lately. These people used to set the standard for what an open world action RPG could be. And yet now it feels like they're lowering the bar for the entire subgenre, cheapening it with half-baked slop. And it doesn't have to be this way. This isn't a matter of technical possibility or financial restraints, but willpower and competence. So, in addition to asking you guys what you want from ES6, my question is this. Why does it feel like the bigger and better funded these companies are, the harder it becomes to ship a solid game on a decent budget? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, that was just something that was on my mind.